Hi everyone, so today I'm back with my October favourites and I took quite a while to get this done just because I've been really busy at work, so I hope you guys don't mind. But yeah, let's just start off with skincare products because I have a lot of products to talk about. I'm really liking the Time Revolution from Missha, the first treatment essence. I think if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys will know that I've been using this, and also I claim and I rave about it to be the SK2 dupe, and it definitely is. It's super luxe, and also it's just base ingredient of this essence. It actually is fermented yeast and it just helps with anti-aging and that kind of thing. But I've been loving using this on my hand or even on a cotton pad. I like to rub it in my hands, pat it into my face, and also use a cotton pad to go over once more, and basically that just sets up a very good hydrated and plumped base for the evening. When I sleep on it the next day, I find my skin to look really doesn't look as dehydrated as it was before. I'll list a few claims in the description box if you guys are interested in this kind of a treatment essence. I'm not the most well versed in skincare, but I know that this is supposed to be a lot about anti-aging and the renewal of the skin cells. So moving on from that, I love the Sulwhasoo, I think it's called, the First Care Activating Serum X, and this is one of their highly acclaimed products that got really hyped up worldwide, and also it's what put this brand on the map. I picked this up also for its anti-aging kind of claims. If you guys know my age, you will be wondering why I even care at this point, but I think it's something that I would much rather start doing now than later, even if I don't see significant results. It's just that kind of thing where it will reap its benefits in the future rather than wanting instant gratification right from the start. So yeah, similarly what I do with this is that I pump it onto my hand, rub it, and then just pat it on. So I really like how the combination of these two are just super easy to use, and if you are super lazy like I am, you would love this. It's just really foolproof, and it gives the skin a very plumped and radiant finish. So one more Korean product before I move on over to the Western stuff that I've been loving. I love the Son & Park Tone Up Base in SPF 30. This is just a primer which acts like I feel it acts a little bit like a color corrector, because as you see when it comes out, it's actually this pink kind of a tinted formula. It isn't white by any means, so it has a very peachy undertone and a very pinky undertone, which I find does brighten the complexion a lot. And yeah, basically every time I apply this, it just gives me a very hydrated base, and also it doesn't feel too silicone-y, or it doesn't feel anything that is pore clogging. So I really like it. I'm not sure why they call it a tone up base, but I find that this does really prolong the wear of my foundation or my makeup in general. So on top of my primer, I've been loving doing a kind of liquid highlighter kind of appearance right before I apply my foundation. So I use the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone. It looks like that with a pump. And basically I just pump a little bit onto the back of my hand, a very small amount. As you can see, that's all I need. And when you spread it across, it's super pigmented. So I like to put this right on top of my primer just because its natural radiance kind of peeks through under the foundation, and it doesn't look as stark, and it looks really natural, and it looks like you barely had any kind of product on your skin. So I like putting that underneath so that it gives a very nice natural glow. On top of that, I've been loving the combination of these two products. This is from Avene. It's called the Fluid Foundation Corrector, and it really looks like a sunblock tube. It's really deceiving because, you know, basically you always associate Avene with skincare products, but when I went there and I saw that they did do foundation and bases, I thought, why not give it a try, because skincare products tend to know what they're doing in terms of formulation. So when I did apply this onto my skin, it applies really light and super hydrating, but it does set down to a demi matte, which is incredible because I wouldn't expect that from a product like this, and it just always gives me that kind of very natural yet covered appearance. This does provide a punch of coverage. It's not something to oversee because it it's buildable, and also it just doesn't look cakey whatsoever, and it's just really good. I like how it applies a little bit tacky in the beginning and then it sets down to a matte base, because I do have dehydrated surfaces and I prefer it to smooth over those areas and hydrate the dry patches, and then when it sets down to a matte finish it doesn't look as prominent. My dry patches don't look as prominent because of the formulation. It lets it set right after, instead of like being super drying right from the start. It will just cling on to everything. So yeah, I really like it. I have the shade 02. On top of that, I like to go with a slightly more hydrating concealer. This one's from Innisfree. I've been liking it because it's their Mineral Cover Fit Concealer. This one is super hydrating and super dewy looking. So if you're one that doesn't like that kind of super tacky kind of a concealer, this one's not for you. But I find that this consistency is very moussey, but the finish it gives is very dewy. But I like that because my under eye is quite drying sometimes, and in the aircon in office it just becomes even drier, and I hate my pet peeve is when a foundation or a concealer looks even more aging on my skin, especially whatever the condition, even if it's an air condition or if you're in a colder climate. I dislike it when you pay so much for a product and it makes you look older than you look. So yeah, that's why if you can see a trend in a lot of my favorites videos, I like to have that plumpness and fullness while just managing my oils as and when I need, rather than just putting on a very mattifying base. So that's my philosophy. If you guys like to adapt to that, then feel free, and you can ask me any questions below. Okay, so second last favorite. This is the Viseart Professional Makeup Palettes, and this one is the blush palette in Plum Bronze, which everyone has been raving about, and this is in the Highlight and Sculpt palette. So as you can see, I like to double up both, as you know, sometimes these shades I use it as bronzing shades, sometimes these shades I'll use as blush shades, but generally for all Viseart palettes, even my eyeshadow palettes, I like to just use them as eyeshadows, as bronzers, as blushes, as and when I please. So this Highlight and Sculpt palette, as you can see, the bottom row is highlighters. So I've been mixing all these shades together and they just give me my custom shade, which I really like. These are not going to be your super stark highlights, they are actually pretty sheer, but what I like to do is apply them on the cheeks first. I'll go over with a setting spray and I'll go over with them. Why I like this is because on days where I really like a sheer highlight, these are my go-to, and I always use them just for that really soft lit radiance and nothing too stark. These bronzing shades, I actually use them more as eyeshadows. I always reach for them because I want that very definitive crease work, and I just go into these and I just map out my crease to give me a more sultry look. Yeah, because if you have mono lids, you do want that cut crease look once in a while. So yeah, I use these as eyeshadows as well. For the blush palette, as you can see, they're just super gorgeous, and I can't say enough good things. The only downside to it is that because the pans are horizontal, my brush that I use this brush I always use for blush, but as you can see it's a little big for the pan, so I have to kind of like spread it around and make sure I don't touch the other shades, but after which I dust it off the back of my hand. But I find that it's a downside just because when I want to get an even coverage all over the brush, it doesn't fit, so that's a little annoying. I find that if you use really little, these darker shades really translate very beautifully on anyone, and I like how they complement women of colour really well. So yeah, that's all my blush and highlight favourites done. Last but not least, I've been really loving the NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams. As you can see here, I have a couple. So yeah, I've been really liking these few shades. Athens, Stockholm, Prague, Amsterdam and Copenhagen. And if you guys know NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams, they are like your liquid lipsticks, but are just a really hydrating and not fully matte kind of a liquid lipstick formulation, and it's just really classic. Anyone who loves liquid lipsticks will have purchased these or received a free one once in a while, and yeah, it's not anything that's super fancy in the market, but I find that if you have really dry lips, or you're someone that doesn't really like the feeling of liquid lipsticks because they're incredibly thick and they feel really weighted on your lips, you would love these just because they're very lightweight and they don't dry fully matte. So I mean, unfortunately, because they don't dry fully matte, these will just rub off throughout the day, but I find that even if I eat a really greasy meal, it wears away really evenly and it doesn't leave that kind of line around my lips. It doesn't make me look like a clown, so I really appreciate that it's not super long wearing and it just wears away evenly. Yeah, and these are super pigmented, so you don't have to worry about it being too sheer or anything like that. It's just that the formulation isn't true to what a liquid lipstick should be, which is fully matte and super long wearing, but these aren't. But I find that it's really comfortable and it's great for working adults. So yes, I am finally done, and if you guys enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions about the products that I talked about or where to buy them, just tell me and I'll let you know where I got them. So yeah, I have nothing much else to add, and if you guys enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. So with that, I'll see you guys. Bye!